I want to throw this in real quick in the beginning of the video. I'm sorry for the audio recording. I forgot to put my pop filter on, so there's going to be a lot of pops. My bad. Alright, so I'm kind of nervous about making this video and how the reaction to it is going to be, because this game seemingly has people all over the place. There's people that fucking hate it, there's people that love it. People that think it's a masterpiece, others that think it's an absolute piece of trash. And as someone who is a massive fan of the first game, and I will say the first game is one of my favorite games of all time. It has one of my favorite stories of all time, has my favorite characters of all time, and it was just an enjoyable experience that I can replay many times. So The Last of Us Part 2 was a game I was looking forward to, but I was always worried about, because the ending of The Last of Us 1 is kind of perfect, and I didn't feel like it needed a sequel like a lot of people thought. And that led to me being worried about Part 2, how it was going to be executed, and what story it was even going to tell. So now that I've played it, I have to be honest. And before these fanboys, these Sony fucking fanboys, Naughty Dog fanboys fucking comment on this, I want to say this. There's parts of this game that I absolutely love, right? And there's parts of it that I absolutely hate. And that's why I'm kind of in this middle ground for the game. I understand why people would love this game, and I also understand why people would hate this game. And I just want to talk about the most obvious thing. So if you haven't played the game, if you don't care to play the game, whatever, there's going to be spoilers in this video. That's it. There's going to be spoilers. It's a review talking about the damn game. So the thing that has most people outraged is Joel's death. And now, don't get me wrong, is it upsetting? Is it sad? Of course it is. Joel is one of my favorite video game characters of all time, right? And to see him die, and to see him die in the way he did, is definitely upsetting. And I get what they were trying to go for, I get why they did it this way, so I'll just say it. So they killed Joel in a very fucking brutal way with this new character, and he goes out not on a good note, and I feel like it's supposed to be like that, and I feel like I get why it's supposed to be like that, and I understand it, and I don't hate it. I actually like the way they did it, right? The way Joel was supposed to go out was supposed to be brutal, was supposed to be fucked up, was supposed to be disrespectful. Of course, the people killing Joel are going to be not respectful towards him, because why would they? They want to fucking kill him. Abby wants to fucking kill him, right? So I feel like it was done well in that way. It was brutal, it made you angry, and it made you motivated to play the rest of the game as Ellie, and I'll talk about that later, but it made you motivated to fucking play the rest of the game and to figure out the rest of the story, and it made you want to kill that fucking bitch, right? And I get that. I feel like it was well executed in that way. Could Joel have had a better death? Could he have gone out like a hero? Could he have gone out sacrificing himself or whatever? Of course. Would have been cool with me? Of course it would have. To see Joel go out like the way he did was upsetting. It was brutal. It was sad. But it was supposed to be, right? And I feel like a lot of this game is easily explained that way. Like, oh, it's supposed to be that way. And I want to get this out of the way, because I feel like that's a lot of the comments and a lot of the people defending the game are going to say. Just because there's a reason for something to be the way it is, doesn't mean you have to like it. If a villain is supposed to be shitty and supposed to be an unlikable character, doesn't mean that you can't enjoy that character and that you can understand it, but it doesn't mean you have to like it, right? And I feel like a lot of the game is explained that way. So I'm just going to get that out of the way. I don't care what Naughty Dog was trying to say with a lot of things. It's all about what I get out of it and how I feel about it. So, yeah. So Joel's death, honestly, doesn't bother me. I feel like it was well executed and it was well done. Now, my major critique with his death is the fact of it happening 2 hours into the game. And this game is like 25 to 30, I've even seen people say 40 hours. So for his death to be in the very beginning like that kind of threw me off. It kind of takes you out of the game for a little bit. But I get his death is like the driving point for the rest of the game, but it is kind of sad that you don't really get to play as him aside from in the beginning, which I'm getting as that was supposed to be like his last ride, you know, like on horseback and everything. So, yeah. But I do want to talk about the character that fucking killed him, because Abby is one of the worst video game characters I have ever seen in a video game. I don't care. I don't care if you're not supposed to like her. I don't care if you're supposed to relate to her. I don't care what the fuck message they were trying to say. The point is, I don't like the character and I hate her. And there's a reason in particular that I'll get into of why that is that way. So, obviously, the villain of the game you're not supposed to like, right? That's the goal. You're supposed to be motivated to get revenge on them or whatever. I get that. But my major flaw with Abby as a character is that for half of the game, you have to play as her. And it just amazes me that they had the balls to do this. That they're going to make you play half of the video game that's a sequel to the game that had two of the characters I loved the most. And they make you play half of the sequel as a character that you don't give a single fuck about. Abby is a shitty fucking character. I don't care if she's supposed to be written shitty. I don't care what the fuck. The point is, I don't like her. And the point is, I don't want to play the game as her. Playing the game as her in the beginning leading up to Joel's death is fine. It's fine. It makes sense. But playing as her past his death is just... It just struck me the wrong way. I just didn't want to play as her. I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. If you understand it, good for you. But the point is, I hated that. I hated every moment I played as Abby after she killed Joel. I just didn't care for the character. I didn't care that if she had reasons to kill Joel. They make sense, yeah. But I don't want to play as her. I wanted to play this game as Ellie. Because that was the whole fucking point of the game. Was to play as fucking Ellie. Okay, so I want to throw this in here because I feel like this is a very important thing before I continue. Because I do not want to fucking hear this in the comments. I don't want to hear this anywhere. I do not care that Abby is a muscular woman. I don't care about that. I don't care if she's trans. She's not trans, by the way. That was fake in the leak. She's not trans. I don't care what the fuck Abby is. That has nothing to do with why I don't like the character. If Abby was a straight guy named Michael, if it was a fucking child, if it was a fucking dog, if it was a fucking robot Nazi, I don't fucking care. If the character was lesbian, if the character was gay, that has nothing to do with how I feel about the goddamn character. What makes me feel this way about the character is what that character does, how the character is written, how they're portrayed. And that's what I want to say. I just want to get that out of the fucking way. And I really hate the way they hid this in the marketing. If it wasn't for the leaks, I would have been even more angry. Like, they did not say this at all. And I feel like that's just fucking shitty. The sequel that people have been waiting for 7 years to get more and to play more as the characters they loved, half of it isn't that. And the fact that they hid that in the marketing is fucked up, and I just don't understand why they hid it. I understand, oh, they didn't want to spoil the game, but guess what? It's a major fucking part of the game that you have to fucking deal with, right? You have to play half the game as this character. And I just hate her. She's not an enjoyable character to play as, and she's just shitty. I just don't get her. I don't get her personality. I don't like it. It's a shitty character. So, I'll be honest. I'll be straight up fucking honest. I watched YouTube cutscenes and playthroughs after the halfway point. I did not want to play the game as Abby. I just didn't. I refused to. I genuinely refused to. So, you can write off my criticism like that. Oh, you didn't actually play the game. I fucking watched people play the game. I watched the game on its own. I got immersed in it still, and I experienced it. So I don't fucking care what you have to say to me. I just don't. That latter half of the game was shit. It didn't belong. You know, if it was just... Man, I don't even want to talk about that part anymore. I just didn't want to play as Abby. I watched it all, so I have the context of it all. I understand it. I saw how the rest of the story plays through. So I feel like I can still have a valid opinion on this. So, man. That's like my biggest criticisms for this game, aside from the ending, which I'll get into towards the end. So I'll talk about what I liked about the game, because it's not all negative with this game. It's really not. There's a lot of positive here, but it's just overshadowed. So what I liked about this game, combat-wise, gameplay-wise, I fucking loved it. And I feel like that's an unpopular opinion, because not a lot of people like the gameplay of the first game. And to be honest, this game plays very similar to the first game. It just has more fluid animations. It feels smoother, less clunky. But it still has that Last of Us 1 feel to it, you know? So I feel like not a lot of people are in love with the combat. But I really, really love the combat. I could play this game as Ellie for a while. I can really. And I'm glad this game seems to be more gameplay focused than the first game. Because I love the fucking gameplay. And I feel like that's unpopular. I really do. Next, the writing. I feel like most of the writing is fantastic, aside from Abby. I don't like any of her in this game. But Ellie, Dina, Jesse, even some of the more side characters were very well written. It was just like the first game. All the characters came off as human, as real people. The dialogue especially, you feel that awkwardness. You have those pauses, and I love that. Naughty Dog really, really fucking nails that, and I just really appreciate it here. Writing top notch. Visually, this game is jaw-dropping. This is the best looking game of this generation. This sets a standard. Like, I wouldn't be surprised looking at this game if it was next gen. Like, honestly, I would not be surprised at all, because this game looks fucking amazing. It's like this, and then like Red Dead Redemption 2 for the best looking games of the generation. Next, music. Music is fucking amazing. Music's amazing, you know? It gives a lot of the same vibes as the first game, and I love the music in the first game, so fantastic job on the music. Voice acting, Ashley Johnson as Ellie, I think that's her name. Fantastic job. Troy Baker as Joel, fantastic job in the flashbacks. I really fucking love his acting. I love the acting throughout, really. Even Abby's acting wasn't bad. It's just the character I didn't like, but the actual acting was solid. So that goes throughout the whole game. The acting was really good. The motion capture, the animations, everything technically about this game is a 10 out of 10. It really is. Oh yeah, another quick positive that I forgot to mention. It's a minor thing, but I feel like it's important. This game has the best, and I'm talking about the best settings and accessibility options in any video game I've ever played. You can adjust so many things about the combat, how the AI works, what they can do to you, what they can't. You can change how the colors are, you can change how the subtitles are. There are just so many fantastic options, and I really hope this starts something revolutionary to a lot of games, where a lot of games start implementing similar settings to this, because I feel like they were so well done and they're very important. So that's about all my positives. Hey, there's a fair amount of them, right? And I want to talk about the ending, because the ending I have a lot of problems with. It's not a perfect ending. It doesn't have that closure that the first game has. It doesn't have that whatever the fuck whatever the word is of the first game. It doesn't feel as satisfying as the first game. It feels like shit, actually. So if I wasn't mistaken, I don't know, I might be a retard, but this whole game came off to me as a story of revenge. It was about Ellie getting revenge for Joel, right? And I was looking forward to the moment where you get that revenge and where you get to serve it yourself. I feel like that could have been really well done and have really felt rewarding. But guess what? You don't get that revenge. You get it to an extent. You get to fight Abby, you get to beat her up a little bit, but you don't get to fucking kill her? the character that I fucking hate throughout the entirety of the game, I don't get to kill? That's just shit. I don't care. It's just shitty. I don't care how you defend it. If they're trying to say, oh, fucking revenge is bad and that's the message of the game, I don't fucking care what the message of the game is. I care about what would have been enjoyable for me. And what would have been enjoyable for me is fucking killing Abby because I did not like that character. That's what would have been enjoyable. But that doesn't happen. Ellie lets her go for some fucking reason, okay? I just don't understand the ending. It doesn't feel good. And it's sequel bait. I honestly feel like it's sequel bait. Like, the first game wasn't like that. The first game, I didn't even think there was gonna be a second game. I feel like it was a great standalone experience, right? So, to see this ending, it just feels like sequel bait. It feels like there's just going to be a Last of Us 3 on the PS5 in a few years, right? So that's upsetting. And this game is just so divisive. Sorry for the chair. I can't fix it. Every time I fucking move an inch, it squeaks. But the thing is, this game is just so divisive. It's split many people. If you just go on Metacritic, the game's getting review bombed for reasons I understand. I don't like review bombing as a concept, but I get it, I understand it, and I understand why it's getting review bombed. And a lot of those reviews are obviously coming from people who have not played the game because there was reviews like an hour after the game launched saying it was shit, right? But I understand them, and that's why I'm in the middle here. I don't know what to do with this game. And I want to talk about this too. A lot of people are saying, oh, this game ruined the first one. I can never go back to the first one. This game did not ruin the first one for me at all. In fact, it made me appreciate the first one for being less shit. The Last of Us 1 will still be one of my favorite games of all time, regardless of how this sequel went. If this sequel was amazing, The Last of Us 1 still would have been one of my favorite games of all time, and vice versa. Right? So, a lot of the controversy about this game has to do with review scores. You know, all these 10 out of 10s, all these 9 out of 10s, right? And I feel like that's how I want to end this. I want to end this by giving my own review score. Now, I hate review scores. I feel like they don't accomplish much. It's just like, review scores are for like people on Twitter arguing about games. They're like, oh, this game's clearly better because on IGN they gave it a fucking 9, and in that game they gave it an 8. Like, who gives a shit at the end of the day? Who gives a shit? Review scores almost mean nothing, to be honest with you. They're just like marketing material for these companies to put on the Game of the Year edition with all these like 10 out of 10s from IGN, right? But to some people, review scores matter, right? I don't like review scores. I don't like putting a number on a game. But I feel like for the sake of this game, a lot of the controversy being around that number, I want to try to put a number on it. And the thing is, it's so hard to put a number on this game, right? And first, I want to tell you guys how I would scale a 0 or 1 through 10 rating. 10 would be a fantastic game. It would just be a game that I absolutely fucking love, a game that isn't perfect because I don't believe a game can truly be perfect. But I also feel like a 10 out of 10 does not mean perfect. A 10 out of 10 means like it's as close as it fucking gets. It's the best of the best. And examples of games I would put in 10 out of 10 would be like Portal 2, Red Dead Redemption 2, The Witcher 3, Batman Arkham City. Those are some examples of that. 9 out of 10s would be games that are super close, like I would give like Spider-Man PS4 that, God of War, and then you get the rest. And then 5 for me would be like a middle of the pack game, like a game that didn't really stick with me that much, but it was still a game I understood why it was decent. It was a decent average game. It wasn't bad, it wasn't good. I would give that to like an Anthem, a Division, a Destiny 1, you know? So that's my scale, and then obviously below that is where it starts getting bad. And the thing that confuses me so much with The Last of Us Part 2 is, what do you do with the rating, right? Because for me, obviously the gameplay, fantastic. I would give the gameplay on its own like an 8, 9 maybe. Music, I would give that a 10. Graphically, visually, sound design, give this game a goddamn 10. Right? But the story is what conflicts with that rating, right? Because I feel like an 8 out of 10 is too high if I include the story, right? Because the story at the end of the day was a disappointment for me. So I feel like a good score for me personally would be a 4 out of 10. right? Now, if the story was good, or if the story just didn't exist, I would give this game like a 7 or 8. If it was just like mainly gameplay, and you were just in the fucking apocalypse, right, playing as Ellie, right? But I feel like the story for me just wasn't impactful, didn't feel as rewarding as the first game, so therefore I can't give it a 5. I don't think it's an average story. I don't think it is. But let me get this out of the way. Opinion is opinion, right? Don't fucking hate me because I gave your favorite game a fucking 4 or whatever the fuck, right? Everyone has different experiences with a game. And whatever you tell me in the comments isn't going to change the fact that I did not really enjoy this game, right? And no matter what I tell you shouldn't make you not enjoy the game, right? If you enjoyed this game, if it's a 10 out of 10 for you, I'm happy. Because guess what? When I buy a game, I don't want to hate it. When I buy a game, I want it to be worth my money. When I buy a game, I want it to be worth my playtime. I want it to be worth every penny. I want it to be a game I play for a long time, right? But for this game, it just didn't do that for me. I'm probably never going to play this game again. Even though how much I like the gameplay, and if I do play the game again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to stop halfway through. Because if I was rating this off what I just played, off of that first 12, 13 hours, I would give this game like an 8, 9, right? But it's just that latter half of the game ruins it for me. It ruins it for me, and I'm never going to play that for myself. I know I never want to play that for myself. And if you enjoyed that part, if you enjoyed Abby as a character, more power to you, man. I wish I enjoyed it. I wish I understood it. I wish I was able to play through that part of the game and stick with it and enjoy it for myself. Because again, I don't want to waste my money when I buy games, right? I want my money to be well spent. Most of the time I think about getting a game so much nowadays because I'm so scared that I'm gonna waste my money and that I'm gonna feel fucking bad and that I'm gonna feel like I made the wrong choice as a consumer, and I feel that a lot. And I felt that with this game. But it's always that hype that pushes you to buy a game before you really know if you're gonna love it or not, right? So, this video is quite long. I'm not gonna keep it going. We're on 20 minutes here. I'm not gonna cut this up because I want this to come off like a conversation. Tell me your fucking opinion down below. If you like this game, did you fucking enjoy it? Tell me, because I want to know why. I want to know how you enjoyed it. And I just told you why I didn't enjoy it. And guess what? That's fine. The internet is all about having different opinions. If you can't handle someone having a different opinion than you, then maybe you shouldn't be online. Just maybe. But anyway, tell me if you enjoyed The Last of Us 2. Are you as mad as I am? Are you as disappointed as I am? Are you even going to get the game? Do you even care at this point? Tell me anything, and I'll do it for the video. Don't hit me.